Hello and happy Sunday. Welcome to Lean and Clean with Fitness Chef Christine. I'm Christine, your host, and today we're going to be making some great sweet potato and black bean, either burritos or tacos, you choose. But the prep's still the same. And it's super simple. We're going to use the oven just to get it all nice and done quickly without any fuss, because who wants to do dishes on a Sunday? Not me. All right, so one of the things, if you've been with me for a while, you know that we talk about fitness, we talk about food and fat loss, and we talk about faith. I have some amazing guests coming up. I joined a collaboration network, and I have to tell you, you are going to be blown away by some of the guests that I have coming. So make sure that you hit that subscribe button, make sure that you hit that like button and smash all the love and leave some comments and share and all that good stuff, because that really helps get the word out. But don't worry, all these peels, we're going to save them and use them. We're gonna put them in the air fryer and make little crispies, because I like them. All right, so I'm just peeling with my knife and cubing my sweet potatoes. We're gonna put them all in this bowl, and then we're gonna hit them with some olive oil and some great spices, and then we're gonna roast them on a sheet pan to make life very easy. Once they are nicely roasted, then we're going to add some black beans in there and some cilantro and all kinds of yumminess so that we can make our tacos or burritos. Now, I love all food. This is no joke. I love Mexican food. I love Italian food. I love Indian food. I love Middle Eastern foods. You name it. I love it. So I try to mix it up. And even though I am a meat eater, it is also my goal to get as many veggies in a day as I can. And to make it so that you don't feel like you're eating vegetables. Because I have shared with you before, I have a grandchild and I want to make sure that he grows up loving vegetables. And I know many of my clients have really struggled to get their veggies in. So this is a great way to hide your vegetables. Make it feel like you're eating something nice and meaty without it being actual meat. And I don't like fake meat. While I'm perfectly happy using nutritional yeast and things like tofu once in a while, I don't feel like it's really beneficial to use like that, more of a, what I call alternative meats. So for me, getting my protein in with the beans and getting in some nutritional yeast in there when I season everything is a better way to go. But my friends, you do what's good for you. I'm just here to give you some ideas. All right, so I'm gonna do one more sweet potato. I usually do one sweet potato per person. So I'm making enough for 4 people, so I've got 4 big sweet potatoes. Now, if you have some big eaters, that's okay. And do not be afraid. I know people are like, oh, it's a carb, it's a carb. Look, I don't know anybody that got obese by eating too many sweet potatoes. I just don't think that's a thing. So, and I feel the same way about like carrots. People are like, oh, they have so much sugar. Do you know anybody that became obese because they ate too many carrots? I don't. I think it's a much better option than all the sugary goodness. And having been a pastry chef for a long time, I'm into good sugary goodness. I do love it, even though I try to avoid it. All right, so this sweet potato is not a very happy camper on the one side, so we'll just set that side over there. And we just won't use that part. Okie dokie, we'll just get this last one done, and then we'll hit it with some olive oil and hit it with some seasonings. And I hope that y'all are having a lovely Sunday. I had a wonderful church service this morning that I went to. Fills up that cup where you can just relax and talk to God and just be in the moment. I like it. All right, slice that up, and this last one here. And I try to keep them relatively the same size so they all cook at the same size, at the same time rather. All right, let me tell you what I've got here. We've got nutritional yeast, paprika, cumin, onion powder, chili powder, and taco seasoning. Now, you don't actually need to have the taco seasoning because the other components actually make it up, but I really like seasoning, so I grabbed that one. So, all right, let's find us a measuring spoon. All right, I'm gonna make this super easy. we're going to toss it with a little bit of good quality olive oil. You could use avocado oil if you prefer. I just happen to like olive oil. All right, so we're gonna do a teaspoon of taco seasoning. We're going to do a teaspoon of paprika. It's got a nice little smokiness to it. A teaspoon of nutritional yeast. That's gonna give us a little extra protein there. Are you sensing a theme? We're actually gonna use a half a teaspoon of onion powder because it can be a little bit overpowering if we're not careful. There we go. And I love cumin. If you don't like it as much, then you can cut back on it. I'm gonna use a teaspoon. I gotta get that in there. I'm gonna just splatter it everywhere. Remember, our black beans are gonna go in here as well once it started cooking, so you don't have to worry about it being overly spiced. And last but not least, we have got our chili powder, also a teaspoon. And now I've got some kosher salt. I'm just gonna sprinkle it over, and some black pepper, which, by the way, it always makes me sneeze. Doesn't matter how long I've been doing this. And then we're just gonna toss it. So we're just gonna make it jump in the bowl, so we don't have those dishes to do, because you know, I just don't wanna do more dishes. All right, let's get that out here. Make sure it's nice and flat, let it shake. We're going to get our black beans. And while these are cooking, you could add to this. You could do extra onion, you could do whatever you want. I'm just gonna do it plain for now. I'm gonna take these black beans, I'm going to rinse them and let them drain, and then we're gonna spice those a little bit. We'll marry them up with our sweet potatoes as they've been cooking, and then we'll get to assembly at the end. All right, these are going in at 400-degree oven until they're nice and soft. They won't take long. I'm gonna go and drain these black beans, and I'll come back and I'll show you how it all goes. All right, hey, the sweet potatoes are out of the oven. They're just starting to soften up. They have a nice little crisp outer texture. Really good amount of spice. So I rinsed and drained my black beans. I added 1 teaspoon of chili powder, and now I'm going to go ahead and dump that on this tray as well. It is super hot, so I'm going to go ahead and just use my spatula, mix it up. The goal of this is really just to get those beans heated through. And while those beans are heated through, I'm gonna go ahead and warm up some corn tortillas. You can use flour tortillas or whatever it is you like. I just like corn tortillas because I feel like they have more texture and sometimes more flavor. And for me, that's a little bit easier to digest. I'm just gonna put 4 of these on there, because like I said, I'm making 4. All right, so pop those in there and let those soften up. It is much easier to make them friable once that's done. And then while those were baking, I took those peelings that we had from our sweet potatoes, and I added just a tiny touch. I just sprayed them with a little bit of avocado oil, hit them with a little bit of salt, and put them in the air fryer for 20 minutes at 350. They're delicious. They're just a nice little snack. I really like them. Okay, let's prepare for our tacos. That's really hot. I got a red pepper, and I'm just doing little tiny dice. I want it small because I want that crunch, but I don't want it to be overpowering. So I'm just took my julienne strips, and now I'm just doing a fine little dice on those. And then we'll just transfer that over here. Put that up. And then I have an avocado that I'm going to slice up. I'm just making little strips, and then I'll turn and we'll make little cubes, and then we'll scoop it out. That'll work. Just get a little knife and scrape. Come around and just pop that out of there. If you have some extra, you can just scrape it out, because really we're just gonna go ahead and eat that up. All right, so we're also gonna get some cilantro. I happen to love cilantro. I know some people think it tastes soapy. My understanding is that is an issue of genetics. So I'm just gonna take this whole bunch and just roughly chop off the leaves. You could very nicely pick off the leaves. I'm not doing that, so we'll just put those on the side there. Now, I love it with salsa, but I didn't have any tomatoes. So the sweet potatoes, the black beans, the avocado, the red pepper, and the cilantro will be great. If you want to make salsa, feel free, add it in there. It will make it even more delicious. All right, so let's see. We have our little snack chips. We have our sweet potatoes and black beans doing their thing over here. We'll go ahead and set these up. It doesn't take very long for the corn tortillas to warm up. So they're good and warmed up. I'm gonna go ahead and place them in here because that makes our life much easier. And we'll go ahead and get the sweet potato and black beans out. Oh yeah, beautiful. Now look, you could add shredded lettuce, you could add whatever you like in there, and it will all be great. Okay, so let's see here. We're just gonna scoop up some in each of these. Go, and I lost one. You want to get about an even mixture of black beans and sweet potatoes. The sweet potatoes are by far more seasoned, so to the extent that you can get a lot. Now you could add cheese if you want to add any Mexican cheeses, or you could add like feta cheese even, just for that little brininess that's in there. It's always delicious. Let's get this back in there. And then we're going to go ahead and top it with some of this avocado. So I'm just going to add a little bit of this avocado in there. You know what? Let me get some spoon. There we go. Get the proper tools. It'll save you time. All right, we add a little red pepper on each, just for a little crunch, because you gotta have that crunch factor in there. And we're gonna add some of this avocado. You can dice it up perfectly and mash it in, however you want to do it. I'm just gonna put nice chunks in there. And one more. And then we'll top it with some of the cilantro. You could add some sour cream if you want that little creaminess, or some Greek yogurt if you want a little bit more of the protein in there. All right, so now comes the moment of truth. Let's give it a try. It's yummy. All right, so wipe my hands. You may have noticed that I've been making a lot of vegetable-based protein dishes. And that is because I feel that we are very deficient in fibrous vegetables, and that we're really not packing in as much as we can. And if we're conscious of that, then we can start adding more in all the time. So I hope this is giving you some ideas. If you're not a sweet potato lover, you could use anything. You could even use carrots. You could just, there's a million different ways to make this. And I want this to be less of a recipe and more of a decision to add more vegetables. Our goal here is always a long and happy mobile life. So it isn't to get to size 0. It isn't to have visible abs. It's to be mobile and happy and healthy in our old age. And by adding more vegetables in, you're gonna get more fiber, you're gonna get more nutrients, and you'll stay full longer. So there's no downside to that. Do it. Fuel your body with the good stuff. Get out there, be active, drink your water, eat your foods. You can do it. Avoid those processed sugars, avoid those processed foods, eat real food. All right, so that's my commercial of the moment. If you really hate your veggies and you have to supplement it, try supplementing with a good product like Juice Plus. I'll leave a link below. I know a lot of people struggle getting enough vegetables, and you're supposed to have 4 to 6 cups of vegetables a day, and I would say the majority of the clients that I work with do not have nearly that much. And it is only as I've aged that I've really started to pay attention to how much I'm having or not having in a day. And I can tell you, by making the choice to have more, I feel so much better. My weight management is so much better. And there's just no downside. I hope that you'll take my advice. I hope that you'll add more into your everyday living and try some of these recipes. I do them every couple of days so that you may have some ideas of how to incorporate extra vegetables into your life. If you haven't already, smash the like button and subscribe. I hope that you do that. It is free, and I try to do as many posts as I can to keep you inspired. If you have any questions, I will leave my email address down below. You can contact me anytime. I just realized that I still have these up there for my grandson because he's obsessed with Transformers. All right, lovies, have a great weekend. You are always in my prayers and always in my thoughts. And if you need anything, reach out. Sending you lots of love. Have a great day.